home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance, then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
thetelegram.news.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, thetelegram.news.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
thetelegram.news.com.
Subscribe today at thetelegram.news.com.
Check it out.
Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV. Of course, Jennifer here to start off your work week with our good friend and man about town, Pete Wilson, with the morning news update. Of course, brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. And if you have any real estate needs, give Nia a call and she'll take care of you. 418-4135. All right, Pete, you must have just laid around and done nothing all weekend because there was just nothing going on.
There's always things going on. That's the problem. I don't know whether we can reach all of them or even know about all of them, but it's all good stuff usually.
It is
not all, but the planned stuff is usually good stuff.
My goodness, October in this area, and James and I were talking about it last week. October is just blows up. It's just there's so much stuff going on.
I've got a theory on that. You've got the Ohilco Festival coming right off the summer, first week in September. You got the Apple Festival, which is mammoth,
sure,
the third week. Nobody is going to plan a special event or a fundraiser or that takes a lot of manpower
around that.
Or maybe they might have to have a week's breathing period.
Yes.
Because so many people are involved in that directly or indirectly or just attending that they're going to back off into October. And, October, I think I would put up October as a candidate for one of the best weather months of the year.
I would think so. Man, we've been blessed this year so far.
Right. Because, usually you don't get a lot of rain. There might be a little frost on the pumpkin in the morning.
Yes.
But by the afternoon, 60, 70 degrees, usually lots of sunshine. And
the leaves are
Perfect.
Awesome.
Perfect for outdoor events and so forth.
It is, and then you got to squeeze it all in October because November, who knows?
It starts to go downhill a little bit.
I can remember Thanksgiving having shorts on, and I can remember Thanksgiving with 2 inches of snow on the ground. So you just never know.
Well, and we know that there's going to be a decline there, right?
Yeah, that is a given.
Regardless of the little day-to-day good days that we have.
Hey, by the way, has anyone noticed? So we built our house in 2003. So I'm trying to do the math there. That would be 19 years ago or something of that variety. And never, ever in all of those years have we had squirrels at our house. And I think it's maybe because we have cats. I don't know. I don't know why we've never had squirrels at our house. So I started noticing the other day, when I was driving, all these squirrels running around with, nuts in their cheeks, and they're so cute. But anyway, they're all at our house right now. And I'm I told Jamie, I said, we're in for it this winter because we've never had squirrels at our house running around. And they say that if they're out in full force burying those nuts, that it's going to be a bad winter because they know something that we don't know.
The critters know.
They definitely know. So I'm looking for a bad winter this year because I just never seen so many squirrels out and about.
Okay. Well, you heard it here, folks.
So that's Jennifer's prediction.
On the Main Street Morning Show.
We'll see if it comes true or not.
Right. Have you got a farmer's almanac that you're hiding there underneath the table?
I do not.
Okay. All right.
So we'll see. What do y'all think? What do you think, James?
I think it's because your cats are getting older and not hunting the squirrels as much as they used to.
That is possibly a theory. I will say one other thing about this. Marley,
Your trees are also probably getting bigger.
maybe. I don't even know where they're getting nuts. I don't have any nut trees at my house. Marley is so fluffy right now. I've never seen that dog so fluffy. So I think that I'm telling you, there's something to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will see. We know it's going to get colder, and we're going to get some snow, right?
Yes.
So, all right. Well, we'll get to the news now, and we're going to start off with some news that isn't so good. Because that tends to happen too, mixed up with all the good things. There was a fire Saturday down in Franklin Township, southern Franklin Township. Both the Jackson Fire Department and the Madison Jefferson Fire Department responded to it. And it wasn't a house, but it was a fairly big building, a pole building on the property of Jeff Gordon on Wasteer-Charrington Road. That's in the southern part of Franklin Township on the corner of Sternberger Road and Wasteer-Charrington, not too far off State Route 93. If you're going down the highway, take a right, that would be to the west of 93 there. And he was working in the pole building there. He does a lot of work in the pole building, works on some vehicles. Accidentally, a fire started there, and he was able to get out just fine. But unfortunately, the pole building and the contents, and that included a vehicle that he was working on in there and a motorcycle, were all destroyed. There was a couple of trucks parked just outside the pole building that suffered damage. They weren't necessarily considered a total jobs, but they were damaged. So that fire was at 4:06 p.m. On Saturday. Both Madison Jefferson and the Jackson Fire Department there. No injuries involved. Fortunately for Mr. Gordon, those losses are insured.
Okay, good.
All right. Since the last time we talked, because I believe it was about a week ago, there was another fire that we'll tell you about, and this did involve a home. This was in Cole Township on Sand Hill Road, 46 Sand Hill Road. The name of the occupant was not immediately available, but that family did lose everything in the home there on Sand Hill Road. The cause of the fire was not immediately determined, but they do know that it started in a utility room. One of the persons in the house had just left, weren't gone very long, about 20 minutes, according to the fire department. When they came back, house was on fire.
Oh, no.
So once again, that was a week ago. All right, yesterday morning, we had a serious motorcycle accident in Jackson County, in the northern part of the county. According to the Jackson Post of the State Highway Patrol, this occurred at 11:48 a.m., very close to noon, on Frieden Maker Road, which is just off State Route 327. That's in Washington Township. That would be east of Wellston and north of Colton. The motorcycle operator was 20-year-old Ronnie Sharp of Wellston. He was operating a 1993 model Honda. And as we know, it can happen in Jackson County. A deer ran out in front of him.
Oh, no.
He hit the deer. It ejected him from the motorcycle, the collision. He was not wearing a helmet, and he did suffer what were described as serious injuries. They did set up a landing zone for the medical helicopter up there near the scene of the accident, and he was flown to Grant Medical Center in Columbus. We don't have a condition there, but the patrol did describe his injuries as serious. The sheriff's office, the EMS, the Wellston Fire Department, and MedFlight were all there to help.
Wow.
All right, the face of downtown Jackson is ever changing. Sometimes people are moving in, sometimes people are moving out, sometimes they're doing new things. You know that, of course.
Yep.
But one of the big changes that's going to happen, not immediately, but this was announced at last Tuesday's meeting of the Jackson County Commissioners. The Jackson County Health Department is going to be pulling up stakes and leaving the B.J. Allison Health Building. Of course, there it is right there. Very familiar, if you live in Jackson County. That's on the corner of Main and Portsmouth Streets. That building, I'll date myself. I can remember when it was built in the mid-'70s. It was built mainly to give the health department a home. The health department had been located in the third floor of the courthouse. Obviously not perfect facilities if you're in the healthcare business.
Definitely.
And so they have been there ever since. It is a county-owned building built with grant funds. However, COVID-19, once again, this is another indirect result of COVID-19. Because of COVID-19, the staff and the work at the health department has increased.
Sure.
They do more things there. They have money to do more things there. And Health Commissioner Kevin Ashton says they've just run out of space. So this is something kind of behind the scenes and quietly that has been talked about, an alternate location. Well, they have one now. It's out on Twin Oaks Drive in that complex out there, right across from the Holzer Medical Center, Jackson.
Yes.
And they have bought some space in there. And once again, the moving date, no set moving date. It will take place. It won't be this year, sometime in 2023. They have a lot of things to do to get ready, but they are definitely going to move. That will free up some space in that building. No announced plans yet on what's going to happen there. I believe that the EMS has moved their administrative offices from the old commissioner's annex there, and also Jackson County Emergency Management Agency is there as well.
That's right.
But there is extra room there. You've got 2 floors there, so we'll see what happens there. But once again, Jackson County Health Department to move to 102 Twin Oaks Drive. In addition to more space, Health Commissioner Aston believes that one of the advantages will be maybe more collaborative projects with Holzer Medical Center, Jackson, just across the street there. All right. A red letter date in Jackson always is the awards banquet for the Jackson Area Chamber of Commerce. It is going to take place, the banquet, Thursday evening at the Parks Edge Event Center.
Okay.
A lot of worthy recipients are going to be awarded and recognized for the good things that they have done, their business success, their community service, etc.
Yep.
And we'll go down the list of honorees. Always a great night. They, for the first time, the Chamber had this function in the Parks Edge Event Center. It's kind of moved around before. It's been out at Cantor's Cave. It's been at the Family Life Center. But Parks Edge, really just a little bit more space there and a very nice venue. And so they'll be returning there. But the award recipients are as follows. The Business of the Year is Wagner Tool Rental and Supply. That's always maybe the top award. The Entrepreneur of the Year is Rowdy's Smokehouse. We know how successful they have been.
Yep.
The Meritorious Award will go to a person near and dear to us, Amanda Crabtree. Isn't that special? Amanda, of course, the former general manager here at Total Media, now a marketing executive with the Vinton County National Bank at the Jackson County Banking Center. That young lady, just so involved in community service, whatever hat she's wearing.
Oh my gosh. She's everywhere.
The list is so long, and some things that I don't even know. And somehow she feels that this is part of what she needs to do as a citizen.
Yeah.
And that is a very, very wonderful selection of her as meritorious service.
Yes.
The Community Pride Award will go to the Marquette Cultural Arts Center. We should never, ever ignore or take for granted that great facility that we have, and the fact, there is no director of operations or executive director or anything. Barbara Summers did all that, brought it into being, got it going. But now, because of money, mainly money, they operate with volunteers. The board members have to do more. There's, the events and so forth have to be planned. There's a lot of behind the scenes work and responsibility that goes. It's just not a nominal thing being an officer with the Marquette Cultural Arts Center. Of course, they have a core of volunteers who believe in what they do, and they step up and they help as well. But a very nice award, Community Pride, and it certainly does bring community pride having that venue. And what a great thing for the downtown it is,
absolutely.
being right there in the center of things. Also, another award that has to do with the downtown, and I was so glad to see this, was the Legacy Award. Lewis Drugstore will be winning that.
Okay.
Talk about one of the major businesses downtown for many years, all the way more than 100 years ago does Lewis Drug go back. Of course, the Jones family is who we recognize as being the owner-operators of the store, the pharmacy, a real hometown pharmacy for more than 100 years, 3 different generations, I believe. Kim Jones, the late Kim Jones, unfortunately passed away just a couple of years ago. It's still in the family. It has not reopened. They did not sell, to another pharmacy outfit or whatever. And I know that the building and the legacy, that's a good word, means a lot to the family. And after some time of it closing, which has been a couple years after Kim Jones's death, they will be recognized. Of course, this was an award that the Chamber added last year to the list of awards. Call Auto Sales won it last year, just on the heels of them closing after more than 100 years of service in Jackson County. And now it will be Lewis Drug Store.
Okay.
All right. Also, the 100 Years in Business Award will be given. The Chamber always does milestone anniversary awards, anywhere from 5, 25, 50, 65, etc. The 100 years obviously is
That's
pretty special.
kind of a lot, yeah.
The award winner is going to be A.E. Rustin Electric,
Yes.
and that is another family-operated business right there located right there as you go into Walmart there on McCarty Lane, just off State Route 93 East Main Street.
The building with the big motor out front that no one knows what it is, that's it.
Right.
The ginormous building.
Well, I tell you, I'm so wonderful. I'm so glad to see this award to Marilyn Rustin,
Yes.
the widow of Sonny Rustin,
Yes.
who ran it for so many years after his father had run it.
He did.
I remember talking to Sonny Rustin when we did a story 4 or 5 years ago. I forget even why we did the story, but there was a reason. But anyway, Sonny said then that he wanted to make it to 100 years. Because,
Yes.
he was, I think, in his 80s, and he was still working.
Yes.
And so, Sonny, when are you going to retire? I want this business to hit 100 years, and then we'll decide what to do then.
Yep.
And, unfortunately, he did pass a couple years ago, but a posthumous award to Sonny for
Loved
because the
him so
business
much.
is still there, and it will reach the 100-year mark this year. And so that will be one of the special awards at this year's Chamber Award. They always do beautification awards too for new businesses, for businesses that have received a facelift or whatever. Hard to know all of them. They could pick so many more. But the ones that will be receiving awards this year, Liberty Lane Quilting, that's in downtown Jackson.
Great.
The Leo Jude Soap Company in downtown Jackson. Both of those are on Broadway.
Yep, sure are.
Hothead Burritos out in McCarty Crossing. That, of course, was a refurbished front there when they moved in. The Munn Group LLC, of course, Brad Munn has got his administrative office downtown now. He's fixed up that building. And the Faith and Fitness Studio, that's in downtown Jackson
It
too,
is.
where the Abbott Home Care used to be.
Yes.
Just a couple doors down from our old Total Media digs.
That's right.
And they've done wonders with that building as well.
They have.
All those awardees will be publicly recognized, and they'll have time in their spotlight. And I can tell you that when you win an award like that, if you're involved from a business side or individual, it means so much to receive that recognition
It does.
from the community.
Yeah.
You never take for granted, somebody who has achieved and somebody who contributes to the community for granted. You need to tell them, and this is one of the nicest ways it can be done.
Absolutely.
Because the Chamber represents the entire community in that way. But the last time I talked to Brian Leach, who is the co-executive director along with Kelsey Stewart, there were about 60 tickets left. There's probably not that many left now.
Okay.
As far as I know, there still may be some left, but they cost $40 each. They can be purchased by contacting the Chamber. You can call 286-2722 and leave a message, or maybe someone will get back to you very quickly. They also have a website, Jackson Area Chamber at yahoo.com. And a mailing address as well, Post Office Box 510. We're close enough to the banquet now, I would make the telephone call and see if there are any tickets left.
Okay.
So we'll certainly be covering that on Thursday evening and putting the spotlight on all those wonderful award recipients.
Yep.
All right. At the last Jackson School Board meeting, there was kind of a policy change that was announced by Superintendent Phil Howard.
Okay.
And this is kind of like an issue that all the school boards have to deal with, and that is the issue of public participation. Now, these meetings are technically governmental meetings and public meetings, and that way you can go to them. They're not closed off. The only way that you can't see what's going on if there is an executive session where they close the doors and it's private, and that has to be for 7 different reasons, to do.
Yep.
But a lot of times people will go to the meetings and they want to speak, and that's okay. But the meeting is not supposed to be a public forum. It is supposed to be a meeting to conduct the business of the school district. So, it can sometimes get long and whatever, and it can get out of hand if 15 or 20 people want to speak.
Right.
So what the Jackson Board of Education has done, what the Superintendent Phil Howard has done, I assume with the Jackson Board of Education's approval, is to have a new policy on public participation. You can still participate, but the new rule is that, before you could just come and sign up and speak.
Okay.
Now, the new rule will be, and we'll start with the November meeting, you will be required to register with the superintendent's office no later than 3 business days prior to the scheduled meeting. Any requests made after that cutoff would be at the superintendent's discretion. You're not automatically not be able to attend. The reason is that sometimes when people come in and they may have a complaint or concern, the school board or the superintendent doesn't know what is about to hit them. And what he says is, it's not that we're trying to prevent commentary or whatever. We just want to be prepared.
Right. So if somebody
if
has
you say this happened or whatever, we'll research it and we'll have an answer for you. We're not sitting there hearing about it for the first time.
Sure, that makes sense.
And I'll have to say this, and I agree with this. He also talked about going through channels and the chain of command. If you had an issue in a classroom, go to the teacher. If you're not satisfied with that, go to the principal. If you're not satisfied with that, go higher up the chain, go to the superintendent's office, the assistant superintendent, a school board member, but just don't show up at a school board meeting without having addressed the problem.
Yeah, because
with the person who is responsible.
And it's, with email and all of this stuff now, texting and everything, it's pretty easy to reach out to folks and be able to communicate with them. Now, if you don't get the response or a response at all, then the gloves come off, but I get that.
Right, exactly.
Just start in the proper manner.
You just have to go through the school board. The school boards have the right not to hear from anybody if they want, but I don't think that would be right.
No, that would be no.
But it just it's just kind of like two things. It's going through channels and then informing the school district ahead of time, the school board, the superintendent ahead of time that you want to speak, so they are prepared to hear you. All right, we'll go to traffic now. Okay, we've had the 4-way stop signs in Jackson.
Yeah.
They are in effect. Are you a fan or not?
I am a fan.
Okay.
I'm a fan now that they took the flashing red lights down, so I don't sit there and stare off into space waiting for it to turn green. But
I talked with Randy Evans about it when I got the update for the story I'm about to tell you about, and I will admit one thing, and he admitted the same thing. Okay, you know how a lot of these are in the downtown area, and you roll up to the stop sign, and there's nobody there, and you maybe hesitate just a little bit because you're used to that light being there, and then you go through. Well, I rolled up to the traffic light at Broadway. At Portsmouth and Maine, and it was a red light. And when I saw nobody was there, I started to go through.
Oh,
I treated it like the 4-way stop because I was becoming conditioned to it.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that.
But there's no one there.
and Randy told me he actually went through. So that is a danger. You got to.
Yeah, you got to pay attention when you're driving.
And be aware. But the news peg, why I brought this up is 2 more intersections are going to become 4-way stops that are now traffic lights.
Okay.
One is at Huron Street and Burlington.
Oh, hallelujah.
All right, where the Midway Quick Mart is.
You just sit there for hours, I feel like, and no one's ever there.
Right. And they have already.
That's so good.
They're already doing a transitional thing there, I
Good.
noticed. The flashing light, I'm not sure I like that. The red flashing light for Huron Street, the yellow flashing light for Burlington Road. And of course, what that means is if you have the red flashing light, you got to stop and then go after you see there's nobody there. On the yellow, proceed with caution, but the other guys on Burlington are the ones that have to stop.
Okay.
Because the yellow flashing light is just like a yellow
So
light.
is that not going to be a four-way stop? It's going to be.
It is going to be a four-way stop, but I
Oh.
think this is what they're doing to get you ready for it.
Okay.
Unless they change their minds. They said that by the first of the year, it would be converted to a four-way stop.
I think that's a very appropriate place to have a four-way
it could
stop.
be that they decided after I talked to them last Thursday, because I think I saw this on Friday, let's do the red flashing light and the yellow flashing light. My presumption is that this is just a transitional thing to get you ready for the four-way stops.
Well, we'll see.
But anyway, the other intersection that's going to become a four-way stop is South Street and David Avenue.
Okay.
South Street and David. And right now, that is still a regular traffic light. They've not done anything to change the
I
traffic
see nothing
light
wrong
pattern
with that
there.
one either.
Right. Okay, and another traffic thing that they're talking about is at the intersection of Water and Bridge. All right? There, you don't have a traffic light. You have a stop sign if you're on
Bridge.
Water Street coming onto Bridge.
Okay.
Okay, have you ever been on Water Street and been in a line of traffic on a weekday afternoon? Usually maybe about the time that school is letting out.
It's a strange intersection,
right,
to say the least.
Well, the problem is there can be a lot of traffic at certain times on Bridge Street going either way. Well, if you're on Water Street and you're coming from maybe the other side of town or into town and you come that way, if you want to turn left, that's where the problem occurs.
Yes.
Because it takes a while to maybe make a left turn, and all those people behind you that maybe want to take a right turn
backed up.
They get backed up.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do about that? They have made a no left turn sign at Water Street in the past, and they scrapped it. They went back to just a stop sign. But it came up again that, there is backed up traffic there.
Sure.
The bottom line is Chief Brett Hinch is going to watch it and make a recommendation on what to do there. But one of the options is to put a no left turn in. One of it is to put a no left turn in during certain hours. One of those two options might be done, or they might leave it alone completely. Councilman John Ondera pointed out that, if you're familiar with Jackson, you know that you can avoid that situation by just going on another street and still hit Bridge Street.
Well, you can go up one to Main and have a red light there.
Right.
So,
which you're going to move at some time or other.
Right.
But I have been in line there at Water Street.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, I purposely avoided at those times.
Yeah.
But the worst times are Northview Elementary, of course, is not too far up the road there. They say it's during school letting out times.
Sure.
And to a lesser extent before school,
Makes
but especially after school.
Well, I'm kind of digging the four-way stop thing, I will say.
All right. Okay. We've still got paving going on in Jackson.
Yeah.
A lot of the work has already been done. You notice that they got the angle parking spaces in downtown Jackson.
Yep.
All painted.
Looks nice.
Right. It does. And it's that really black asphalt. It looks really,
It's really
nice just from the look. But, this is something I don't know whether you remember about it. I do, because I'm an old guy. I can remember this stuff. There was a time where the Ohio Department of Transportation, they've always been responsible for the paving because they're state routes.
Mm-hmm.
Main Street is a state route. It's State Route 93. Part of Broadway is State Route 139. So they've always paved it. Saves the city a ton of money because they just have to do nominal, small things in support of the paving projects. Well, technically, that might not be the word to use. It's a law. You cannot back onto a state highway. Did you know that?
No.
You're not supposed to be able to. I'm sure I know people do, but it is against the law. All right.
Well, the Main Street's a state highway.
I know. So there was a time, this was maybe 25 years ago, where ODOT was not going to pave the city streets if we kept angle parking.
Oh.
They wanted us to go to parallel parking.
Gotcha.
Which was lawful and they considered more safe.
But
so how do you feel about angle parking?
I think
we've still got it.
Okay. Number one, technically, you have to back up to parallel park.
Yeah, you
just saying.
Yeah, you could, but you don't have to back onto the highway necessarily. It's just parallel with the curb, right?
You're still backing up to back into the spot, so technically, I feel like you're backing. But
well, they were all right with parallel parking, but they were, and of course, nobody wanted the parallel. I won't say nobody. A lot didn't want the parallel parking because there's fewer spots.
I feel, that's what I was going to say.
And
And
most people don't know how to parallel park anyway.
well, no, unless you have one of those fancy cars that does it for you. But no, I feel like just for our downtown purposes, the angle parking makes a lot more sense. We're not blessed with a plethora of parking anyway. So, if that's going to take away some spots, that just seems. Plus, if one person not being able to parallel park deters them from coming to a downtown business, I'm sorry, but no, let's stick with the angle.
Right. So, and on the angle parking, if you're a local, I'm sure you're this way too. You have to be very vigilant when you're driving. Forget the fact that it's the fault of the person backing out, that they have to watch.
Yeah.
But every time that I make a turn from Main onto Broadway or Broadway onto Main, I have in my mind that the person is backing out of a spot and they don't see me coming.
Correct.
And I'm going to have one of those $2,000 dents in my car.
No, and you're right. And just slow down, and you're right. Be vigilant.
Right.
You
want one of my pet peeves are people
illegal J turns.
No, well.
Into the post office?
People do that all the time, and that is the police every now and then want to crack down on that. They'll do a couple arrests, and then they'll forget it.
I'm just telling you, that is the most annoying thing because you have no idea where the person's going.
Right. Well, I understand, and that is it's just like a U-turn in the middle of the street. You're not allowed to do it. It is illegal in the city of Jackson, a J-turn, and yes, the post office is one place where it often happens.
All the time.
But my pet peeve is when a motorist, is sitting in an angle spot. They're in the driver's seat. They may have their engine running, and they've got their backup lights on. So you think they're about ready to back up. But they're not. They're just sitting there.
They're just having a full-on, text conversation.
And so you're going down the street, and of course there's traffic coming the other way. You can't nudge over too far. So if they do happen to back out right then, you're toast.
Yep, you are correct.
So the angle parking does make me a little nervous, but I just try to be really, really careful.
I think if you're having to pick the lesser of the two evils, the angle parking's better. Although, you go to Columbus, you go any city, they all have parallel parking. So I don't know.
Right. Okay. And remember, the city has that lot there right off Portsmouth Street.
Yeah, you can utilize it.
For a while, that was very popular because it didn't seem there wasn't enough parking uptown.
Nobody uses that lot.
There was always the bugaboo about business employees parking in the spots right in front of their businesses. So customers would have to maybe walk half a block to get to the store, and that was a deterrent, they said, to businesses. So, but anyway, we're going to go to voting now.
Okay.
All right. Okay. What do you have to have besides voters to have an election?
Board of Elections?
Yes, you do. Beyond the Board of Elections, even.
Something to vote on?
Yeah, you got to have that too. Keep going.
I don't know.
You got to have poll workers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
of
right.
Course,
yeah, you were heading the right direction. Well, in Vinton County, they need them.
Oh, okay.
They have gotten a hold of me, Miss Melissa Hale, who is the Board of Elections Director.
Okay.
You have to. They shoot to have 4 poll workers at each precinct. So 20 precincts in Vinton County. They need 80 poll workers. Plus, you try to get some spares in case somebody can't show up or whatever. Well, when I talked to her last week, they had 76 and they had no spares. So they need 4 for sure. And so the call is out. If you want to be a poll worker in Vinton County, or even if you don't want to be, you're needed. Okay.
Okay.
It's one day of work.
Calling 10 good people.
6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. That you can take a day off from work, or if you work part-time, it may fit into your schedule. Or if you don't work at all, you're retired or whatever. In between jobs, this is something that you can do. And a lot of people assume it's a volunteer thing. It is not. You get paid. As a matter of fact, in Vinton County, $125 a day.
Nice.
Yeah. So not bad at all. The only requirement is that there's several requirements. You have to be 18 years of age or older. That's not hard. You have to be a registered voter.
Okay.
All right. I didn't know that. and you have to not have been convicted of a felony crime, because you can't vote if you've been convicted of a felony crime in Ohio, and you can't be running for office and also be a poll worker at the same time.
Gotcha.
But other than
That makes sense.
other than that, anybody can do it, and they have you in for a training period, usually with other people who are new as well, and it's a couple hours at the most. So there's not a whole lot to it, but you do have to do the training ahead of time. So if you're interested in becoming a Board of Elections poll worker in Vinton County, the number to call is 740-596-5855. And I am sure that all of our boards of elections, including here in Jackson County, they're always looking for people who are willing to do it and put them on the list, so as to speak. In Jackson County, of course, they don't need quite as many because they've consolidated polls. Yep. That's another plus of consolidation of polls. But in Vinton County, once again, the number to call is 740-596-5855. And here is another thing. Right now, what they need, those 4 spots that they still had a vacancy for as of last Thursday.
Okay.
And we've had this story online and in the paper, so maybe it's improved. But as of the time I talked to them, it's a bipartisan thing, right? So you have to have an equal number of Republicans and Democrats, and an independent can sit in a Democrat or a Republican seat.
Okay.
In Vinton County, all the Republican seats are full.
Okay.
So the 4 people that they need should either be a Democrat or an independent.
Gotcha.
All right. Okay. So early voting is underway right now throughout the state of Ohio for our November 8th general election. You can see sample ballots online on the websites of the different boards of elections, and that includes both Jackson County and Vinton County. The early voting hours at the boards of election, the hours are slightly expanded right now, and they'll get more as we get closer to the election. But now on weekdays, Monday, October 17th through Friday, October the 28th, all boards of elections in the state of Ohio are open at 8 a.m. and they will close at 5 p.m.
Okay.
Normally, they're closing at 4 or 4:30. They might open at 8:30. It may vary. I'm not sure there's a rule on that. But there is on the early voting. All of them have to be open from 8 to 5, and those hours will extend into the evening later on. And then the weekend before the election, the boards of elections will actually be open for voting on both Saturday and Sunday. So
heck yeah.
You have no excuse.
You do not.
No excuse not to vote. You can also do an absentee ballot, of course. You can call, mail the Board of Elections, ask for one. You can request one online, and then it's just a matter of mailing it back in or turning it in.
Yes.
And they usually have the boxes outside to where you don't even have to do it when they're open. You just throw it in there.
Yep, that's right. So you have plenty of opportunity to vote.
All right. We want to tell you about a new business in MacArthur. We always want to promote new business in our communities, and want to help the public know that the business is there, what they sell. And the new business in MacArthur is called Alleyway Trends. It is at 114 Market Street in MacArthur. And
there it is.
There it is. It looks like they've got some, it's a home decor and clothing, of course, as you can see there. The 2 co-owners are Christy Canese, she is on the left, and Allison Byers on the right. And they opened for business on Sunday afternoon, October the 9th. That was their actual first day of business. Red Thompson Jr. may not know a whole lot about dresses, but he went up there and did an interview. And we will have a story in the paper. Did a nice interview with him. I've seen the story. And they don't have a website yet. The store doesn't, but they will. So that will be another way that you can see the inventory and also presumably do some ordering as well. But they named it the Alleyway Trends because it's on one of the main alleys in downtown MacArthur.
Makes sense.
That was why they named it. And they each had their own business. One was called Brilliant Creations and one was called Present Creations, but they've always been friends. And they decided to go together and have a brick and mortar business, and they called it Alleyway Trends. Cool. So the hours are 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Wednesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Friday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. The business is closed Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Okay.
All right. The new interim superintendent at the Oak Hill schools, his name is Jason Mantell. Remember?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, he is getting around. He's getting familiar with the district, but he's also getting familiar with the community. And one of the best ways to do that at Oak Hill is go to the monthly Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce meeting, and that is what he did last Monday.
Great.
When there was the monthly meeting there. There is Jason on the right there, and he is. If you want to know about Oak Hill, he's talking to the right person. That is Martha Detty Foster right there. 96 years young.
My
still
goodness.
very active in the community. Her son is Jack Detty, prominent
Yes.
attorney / magistrate here in Jackson.
Yep.
And Martha Detty Foster has never slowed down as far as being involved in the community. She's always at the chamber meetings. She's helped with the Festival of Flags in the past, been active in the past with the Republican Party. Not so much now, but she used to be. So there she is talking with Jason Mantell. Jason he wasn't necessarily what you call the guest speaker, but he was one when they shared about what was going on in the community. He talked about the things going on in the schools, including one of the things he's working on is getting new playground equipment for Oak Hill Elementary School.
Yes.
All right, so we also want to mention that we have a new higher up at the Jackson Post of the Ohio State Highway Patrol. His name is...
Did Lieutenant Morgan finally make captain?
Lieutenant Morgan, Aaron Morgan.
We want to be able to say Captain Morgan.
Well, he's in charge, but he's got some help now.
We're just kidding.
Stephen Brooks was promoted to sergeant. He had been in Athens, and now he's at Jackson. And he will have he will be, in addition to being a sergeant, he will have the position of assistant post commander there.
Nice.
We'll get into this a little bit more later because he deserves a little bit more press than just a mention. But a gentleman who has been at the post for a long time, and he had the title of assistant post commander, well known to Jackson County's Mike McManus, has just retired from the Highway Patrol post. Right, he's going to go to work for the Common Police Court. I think he already is. So he went from one job to another, but he retired from the patrol after a long career, most of it at the Jackson Post. He was a Wellston native, grew up in Wellston, graduated from Wellston High School, served at a couple other patrol posts before coming here, rose through the ranks, and I believe October 7th was his last day.
Okay.
But we're gonna, if we can get him to sit down and talk to us, we're gonna do more of an in-depth story on him and his contributions to law enforcement here in Jackson County.
Mm-hmm.
This is outside the county and outside Vinton, but it's a big enough thing. I think it's worth mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
The new Hocking Hills State Park Lodge and Conference Center.
Yes.
Have you seen it or seen pictures?
I've seen pictures. I have not been there yet. Well, I was terrified. Not terrified, but I knew that you wouldn't be able to get near it anytime soon. So,
well, they are taking reservations now. It might be the off season a little bit, not so much now because of the fall in Hocking Hills, but they get traffic all year round. But you might get the opportunity to get in there before the summer, now because it is big. It costs $40 million to build. $40 million.
Wow.
And of course, this replaces the lodge that was destroyed by a fire in December of 2016. But it is on State Route 664, just outside Logan, 74,000 square feet, 81 guest rooms. It is a big place. And it's so special that the governor himself, Mike DeWine, and the ODNR director, Mary Mertz, was there to cut the ribbon here a couple Saturdays ago. And that is a view of the ribbon cutting and the front of the building. They will also have a full-service dining room. They will have an event space where they can host hundreds of people, a grab-and-go cafe, a gift shop, indoor and outdoor pools with hot tubs.
Woo-hoo.
I think they build it, they call it a conference center. They build it so meetings and events can be held there, business things. So very exciting. And that is just, a little bit more maybe than an hour away. So might be worth a look-see.
So I got the room booking up here. Good luck if you want to spend a weekend there.
Correct.
But if you want to spend like a Tuesday to a Thursday, you're in luck. There's some openings.
There's a few openings.
Yeah, so they've got lodge rooms, which is like a traditional hotel room, and that's $180 a night. And then they have a family lodging, which is more like a small apartment. That's $270 a night. And then they have cabins, which is like a whole kind of separate thing. That's about $240 a night.
Okay, so lots
if you're looking for a midweek getaway, you might be able to get
lots of opportunities, and it's a beautiful facility. So you want to check it out sometime. And the best thing, you're not traveling in a car for 5 or 6 hours to get to your destination.
I mean, you're not that far away, but it's like a whole, vacation thing.
Right. If you're from Jackson County, Vinton County maybe not so much because you're so close, but if you're from Jackson County and you just heard about the Hocking Hills and you haven't given it a try, please do.
So, funny story about this real quick, because I know you have a lot to talk about, but Jamie and I were in Cincinnati last weekend, and we go to this little diner, and we're sitting there, and just a little hole in the wall diner, and our server came up. She said, "Oh, are you from here?" We said, "No, we're just here for the weekend." And she said, "Where are you from?" I was like, "You haven't heard of it?" And she's like, "Well, try me." And we were like, "Jackson." She's like, "I have a funny story about Jackson." I was like, "Of course you do," because people have either not heard of it or But she said that they go to Hocking Hills all the time. And she said, "I love it. Like, it's like my second home." And she said, one time I decided to go through Jackson just as a different route. And she said, we started down this road, and it was this gravel road. And she said, I'd never really seen a gravel road before. So I thought we were lost. And I rolled down my window at this guy's house, and he said, "Oh yeah, just keep on going down the gravel road till you hit the paved road, and then you'll be close." And she said, so I thought I was lost the whole time on this gravel road, but I really wasn't. It was just Jackson. Right. I said, "Well, yep."
That's right. Well, that's the country for you.
Yeah, she had a funny Jackson story, but she said that they go to Hocking all the time from Cincinnati. Right. And there's plenty of things to do in Cincinnati.
It is a major destination.
It is.
For Columbus, Cincinnati, Northern Ohio folks. It's like the Appalachian Mountains only a little closer.
It is. It's like, it's just amazing to us because we live here.
We live in the hills. We take them for granted.
Yes, we do. 100%.
Right. And then, of course, you got all the scenery up there and the facilities and like that make it so special.
Hey, Dylan, do you have that other photo of the lodge? So this is Kevin Lyles. He built this statue. He is a Rio Grande professor.
Yes.
And he got to build this big statue outside of that fancy new lodge.
Is that not so cool?
Yeah, this we'll talk about that more some other time, but that's crazy. That's like, I don't know, like tons of stones like,
within that.
Yeah.
It's all just sort of natural things from the area.
That's very striking. I'm sure that is a effort to once again connect our area with this.
Sure.
Because it's right here in Southeast Ohio, and of course Kevin Lyles has done such wonderful work at the University of Rio Grande, and of course he's been a guest exhibitor at the Marquette Cultural Arts Center as well. Very nice man. I've met him. All right, a couple other things going up I want to tell you about.
Sure.
At Wellston High School this Thursday, Wellston City Schools, there's going to be a family engagement and community resource night. This is kind of like a big thing to bring together the public and the schools. It will be from 4 to 7 p.m. and will be in the cafeteria of each of the schools, and it's being coordinated with parent-teacher conference night. And there will be 25 community agencies available. Local employers will be in attendance to offer information about employment opportunities. Family members who attend and complete a punch card will be entered into drawings for gift cards. So you have that incentive too.
Cool.
But that is, I don't believe they've done that before. A family engagement and community resource night in the Wellston City Schools this Thursday, October 20th, in conjunction with Parent-Teacher Conference.
Makes sense.
All right. Some road work we want to tell you about. This comes from the Jackson County engineer. Starting today, Shelley and Sands will be paving portions of Monroe Hollow Road, Jackson Furnace Road, 5 Points Road, Standpipe Road, I told you, Jennifer, Les Mill Road, Mulga Road, and Chillicothe Pike. If you recall, county engineer Melissa Miller was successful in getting some extra paving money through all the ARPA and all like that. And I presume that money will be at work doing some of this paving here in mid and late October. One-lane traffic will be maintained in all these places, so you should be able to get through.
You can still get through.
But there will be both striping and paving projects taking place. Excuse me. You can expect delays
Sure.
maybe at some
It'll be
spots.
worth it, though.
All right. We want to salute the Jackson Marching Ironmen. They won the Battle of the Bands at the Buckeye Hills Career Center Drug-Free Day. The drug-free rally.
Good job, Dylan.
They had it at Gallipolis City Park. There it is. But part of
Dylan, didn't you say this was the one you didn't go to?
Yeah.
Oh, no. You weren't even there.
Well, the point of the event is to have a rally for the drug-free chapter at the Buckeye Hills Career Center, and they have between 100 and 200 students who've made that pledge.
They
to
do,
stay
yes.
drug-free, and they do activities to have fun and support each other and underscore what the chapter is all about, what the bottom line is all about. To make it bigger and bring in other students, they have a Battle of the Bands. It includes all 7 bands from the 3 counties. So you've got Jackson, Wellston, and Oak Hill in Jackson County, Vinton County, and Vinton County. And then in Gallia County, Gallipolis, Gallia Academy, River Valley, and South Gallia.
Okay.
And this year, the Jackson Marching Ironmen were named the winner of the Battle of the Bands, and they actually had a big trophy presented to them at the football game last Friday night.
Cool.
All right. Make a Difference Day will be this Saturday at Lake Alma State Park. That's the Vinton County Cares group that is doing that. That is a service project. The goal of this event is to improve the off-leash dog park at Lake Alma State Park so that dogs and their owners can have a safe, well-maintained area for recreation and socialization. There are many licensed dogs in both Jackson and Vinton counties, and so the Vinton County Cares thought that this would be a good project to do, not only for the park, but for the dogs and their owners.
Yes.
All right. Jeremiah Shaver was busy on Saturday night at the Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce annual Pumpkin Walk. And this has turned into a really nice event. They've done it for a number of years now. They always get a good turnout. The only variable will be, will they get decent weather? They had it.
It
on
was
Saturday
great weather
night. It was
Saturday.
great weather. And the award winners for the best carved pumpkin, this was the 10th year. I didn't know it was that many, 10th year. The best carved pumpkin was Candace Pittman. The best painted pumpkin was Jackson Bryant. The scariest pumpkin was Whitley Berry. The funniest pumpkin was Jolie Miller. The best adult carved pumpkin was Elizabeth Berry. And the best of the best pumpkin was Hank Jones.
Okay, so I think we have some pictures here.
Yeah, we have. We'll show the pictures that we have. I'm not sure which is which because I wasn't there.
Okay, this one is the best adult pumpkin.
Best adult pumpkin, okay.
Hold on just a second. Okay, this one is the best carved pumpkin.
That would be Candace Pittman.
Okay.
This one is the best of the best pumpkin.
That would be Hank Jones.
I'm going to disagree with that in a second, but we're biased here.
Yeah, we're a little biased.
This is the best painted pumpkin.
Hard to argue with that. Jackson Bryant.
That's awesome.
And this is the best painted, this is the funniest pumpkin.
That would be Jolie Miller.
And then, so here is just a general kind of scene. Another kind of general scene. Really funny ones. That's pretty awesome. But
Look at that one.
That's scary. But
that's
clearly, this
Berry
is the best pumpkin at the Oak Hill Pumpkin Walk.
This is hilarious.
I would like to know who came up with that one.
Well, this is Rihanna Puckett's family that does the T-shirts for Zip Printing.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Rihanna's family always does amazing things. And
they are perennial winners.
They are. And but we're still trying to figure out how I was interviewing 2 people with pumpkins on their heads, and I didn't do that.
I
mean,
know.
we've had some pretty pumpkin-headed people in here.
I don't know how that...
I remember.
I don't know how that happened. But we'll have coverage of the pumpkin walk.
Job.
We'll have coverage of the pumpkin walk in our Saturday's... not this Saturday's paper, because we're going to shoot for Wednesday. That's the next paper, if we can get Jeremiah at the keyboard working. And we know he'll have some very good pictures and probably maybe even a video from the event. I think he might have something posted already, as a matter of fact, on the Telegram Facebook page. All right, another event that occurred, and I know that you were talking about it off camera here before we started, was the Dinner in the Street event.
Yes.
Which was held on the block of Broadway Street between Pearl and Main Streets.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what, I stopped by. It was a great event, but it also causes a lot of chatter in town because people don't know what in the H is going on.
I know. What is happening?
Why are they blocking off half a block, and why is there a dining room set
It's
up?
a good thing they got that paving finished before this was supposed to happen.
Right.
No, that was, they were probably watching that, but that's Kim Harless, the senior organization director of the Jackson Vinton Farm Bureau. They're standing, and she is talking to the diners, and what she's talking about, right when I took that picture, they are making their own butter for their meal.
Yes.
Which, did you know how to make butter?
Yes, because Kim taught me.
Okay, well, I didn't know she taught me. I actually had Ted Frazier gave me a roll, and Alice Frazier gave me some butter, so I had a roll there. But heavy whipped cream.
Yep.
In a pint jar, and shake it up.
Just keep shaking. Some salt.
Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. That is Sheriff Frazier and Dr. Alice Frazier, his wife. That is her taking the butter out of the jar, and she's about ready to. Ted's got a roll ready to be buttered there.
He's looking a little anxious about that.
Right. Well, later on, he really made out because I mean, not only they had a salad, then they had either steak or chicken from Smoking Butts.
Yes.
Green beans, mashed potatoes, and then desserts after. I mean, it was great. Weather was great.
Yeah.
And here's the best thing about it. This is why they do it. $1,000 to each FFA chapter in Jackson County. Wellston, Jackson, and Oak Hill. They all have FFA chapters now.
They were able to raise $3,000 for the kids. And that's what it's all about, right?
Right. And it took the Farm Bureau's organization to do it, and their volunteers, their staff, their board members. Kim, I know, I think was the spearhead, as she always is.
She is.
You've got community sponsorships that participated or partnered. You know, Smoking Butts, 6 Cents was there with some adult beverages.
Yeah.
And then I know that I think Virgil Hamilton Insurance was a supporter as well there, and probably some others. We'll have that in a story too. But the big thing was raising money for the FFA, and then a good attendance too. It's not going to work unless people buy the tickets.
Right.
And that was a pretty good meal for $40.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty good deal
right.
for everybody involved.
Yeah, great service. The FFA kids were it was like white glove treatment.
Yes. Those kids, I will say.
Actually, they were blue latex.
Those kids are all phenomenal. I mean, just unbelievably great.
Right. Well, they each got a $1,000 check, each chapter did.
Yep.
All right. Friday night football. We just got a few minutes, but we had to get to it.
Yes.
All right. We had 2 championship games that occurred involving our local teams. We'll tell you about the good one first. Up at Alumni Stadium, the Jackson Ironmen were taking on the Washington Courthouse Blue Lions. Both teams were undefeated in the conference, highly touted.
Yep.
When it was all over, it was Jackson 63, Washington Courthouse 21. I still have not woken up from my dream.
Yeah, that was not expected to happen, correct?
Right. Yeah, there is, I believe that is Brody Butcher catching a pass against Washington Courthouse. Jackson scored 21 points in the first quarter, 21 in the second.
Whoa.
Washington Courthouse had a very explosive offense. Normally, they did not score at all in the first half.
Wow.
This sounds incredible to say. 63-21, the game wasn't that close. Now, if they played again, it could be a different result. But on this night, that's what happened.
It's just one of those games that starts and everyone's like, what?
Everything goes
What is
right.
going
Tip
on?
of the hat to the coaching staff and the players and all. They were certainly ready for this. They are the defending champions. Washington Courthouse was a team who believed they were good enough to maybe take that crown away on Jackson's field.
Sure.
It did not happen. Now, Jackson has copped a share of the Frontier Athletic Conference title. That's for sure. However, to win the complete title, undisputed, they have to go to Chillicothe to play. And Chillicothe is the other team in the league that is considered an excellent team along with Washington Courthouse.
Okay.
Courthouse beat Chillicothe the week before, 24-14. Chillicothe has always been a tough foe for Jackson, especially at Chillicothe. So we'll see what happens. If Jackson wins, they are the undisputed champions of the Frontier Athletic Conference again. They also, looks like, Jennifer, the winner, if they win this game, they may well be the top seed in their region for the playoffs. What that means is they get to play.
Nice.
Their seeding is they have a preference in seeding, which means that there's 16 teams that get in. If you're the number 1 seed, you'll play the number 16 seed. Theoretically, the 16 seed is not as good as the 15th seed, and so on and so on and so
forth. Yeah.
But if Jackson wins, they will have 2 home games for the playoffs. Now, that is supposing that they win the first game, because when you lose, you're out.
Correct.
But by the seeding, that's how it would work. Jackson will be at home for the first game as well. We don't know who until after the regular season. The other game involving championship implications was up at Vinton County, and Vinton County lost a heartbreaker to Nelsonville York, 21-20. Here's an action scene from that game. Red Thompson Jr. was up there. Close game all the way. It came down to Vinton County missing an extra point kick. Nelsonville York did not miss an extra point kick. Vinton County was lining up for a potential game-winning field goal from 40 yards or so at the end of the game. But unfortunately, the ball got hiked before the kicker was ready, and they didn't even get the kick off.
Oh,
so very,
bummer.
very disappointing loss for Vinton County. However, mathematically, they still have a chance for a share of the title if they beat Wellston on Friday night, and if Nelsonville York loses to Athens. Both of those are not supposed to happen, but stranger things.
Hey, you never know.
Right. So regardless, it's been a very good season again for Vinton County. They have a chance to make the playoffs as well. Probably not for a home game, but I saw one projection where if they win, they will definitely be in the playoffs.
Cool.
It's never official, though, until the Ohio High School Athletic Association punches those buttons on Tuesday.
Yes.
All right. So that's all the news we have time for. It's 10:02 a.m.
Well, we made it, Pete. Great job.
We did make it, yes.
Yes.
Lots more to tell you about.
That's true.
But that's for another day.
And don't forget, too, that the Moonville Music Festival is coming up this coming weekend, and we'll be telling you more about that as well.
Right, yeah. Red did a couple interviews on that. We'll be telling you more about that. We'll have a big article in the Wednesday paper, but that sounds very special. Hey, listen, you can go see the Ohio State football game. You won't have to miss it.
That's right.
A party atmosphere and all that music for one thin $10 bill.
That's exactly right. And it's a noon game, so you can watch that early.
You got things being done in the right order.
Yes, exactly. 100%. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We greatly appreciate you watching. And thank you, Pete Wilson. And we will see you right back here tomorrow.
Okay.
For some more stuff. Thanks. Bye.